I think it's very appropriate that the two of you are with us this evening on what is now officially, at this time, the 2-year anniversary of what I believe was a false flag event, October 7th, 2023. I believe that Milikowski's government knew exactly what was coming. They allowed it to happen. They knew that it would be tremendous political cannon fodder as a result. I didn't know what to make of it at the time, but I knew something didn't feel right. We had already been covering this topic for the better part of 2 years at that time. And so on the very first live that we did, just 2 days later, after this event took place, this is a message that Jen put out. This was aired on October 10th, 2023.
Taught Palestinians that wasn't a thing. We were discouraged from using that term. We were taught that Palestine wasn't a real place. It was never legitimate until it was the state of Israel. All of the people in the area were referred to as Arabs. We were taught that Arabs were less civilized, were filthy, and that they hated Jews and wanted to kill Jews, like indoctrinated from a very young age. This level of Zionism is what is still governing people like my congresswoman. And I see them put out this sort of sentiment that is just so unbelievably ignorant. Anybody in Congress, anybody with a platform, anybody who has access to information at this point and does not acknowledge the Nakba, that Israel is an illegal occupation, that they're in violation of international law, and just keeps waving their Israeli flag, they are one of two things. They're either being willfully ignorant or they're lying. That's it.
I knew this was going to happen this way. Like, not to the extent that it did, but I saw where this was going.
Well, if you'd watched Operation Cast Lead, you had to. I mean, that was a precursor. That was a precursor for it.
My question is, like, when we're seeing this shift in our military and we're seeing that it's going to be a whole bunch of ICE type commandos that have no honor. These people have no honor. They just want to go out there and shoot shit up. The real revolution to me, it's not electoral. We're not voting our way out of this. This is going to get ugly and it's going to get violent way more so than it already is. And my question is what are the military people that are the people that have honor, that are either veterans or retiring or people that are not going to go along with this? It's like, that's where the revolution comes from. We know that the blue team has been pissed off for years, but the blue team is feckless. They can't do shit. The red team is armed. And the red team is not having it. So now you have a bunch of veterans and people like that gentleman who is now considered a threat to national security that are going to be out there and wanting to do something and defend their country against this domestic enemy. And so what does this turn into? Because that's where I see the real revolution happening, is people are going to start getting in the streets. And now in Florida, we're full on open carry now. So this is the Wild West.
Well, there's more guns in the south side of Chicago than probably in an armory in Illinois.
Right.
I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but we're going to see it. I think you're absolutely right. I think we're going to have blood in the streets.
I do too. And I think it's going to be a lot of those people that were military, are veterans, people like you, people like our friend Anthony Aguilar, who's in the chat, people who have a conscience and who have honor, that are not going to stand and watch their fellow citizens being gunned down in the streets. And I've been saying for a long time, we need to Black Panther this shit. We need to have packs of Black Panthers all the way, everywhere where there's ICE. They want people open carry. Let's show them open carry.
Yeah. You know, I'm hearing, it's funny to say that I became a pen pal for an individual who I never expected and don't want to be a pen pal with because some of the outrageous things he says. But at the same time, he's been telling me now for about a month that, we're going to have a civil war. It's not going to be about the North and the South. It's going to be about a civil war that Israel causes with us. You must also know with the flotilla right now, there's a lot of veterans that was a part of that flotilla as well. And so you're seeing a lot more veterans, as I tell folks, we've been detox, we look back on it now and say, wow, this was crazy. All the wars that we've had, we've always been chasing some type of ghost. I don't know if, when you talk about, false flags and so forth, October the 7th, Well, Bibi Netanyahu said it himself. October the 7th is our 9/11. He's using that as an excuse. 9/11 was used to create the so-called war on terror so that we could go after, Iraq, Syria, and later Iran, which is planned to still carry it out now. I've been, doing a lot of my presentations and interviews. I've, people been trying to force me to say that 9/11 was an inside job. When I talk to, engineers and so forth, I mean, it's almost convincing, but I tell folks, I only give you facts I know, opinions, and assumptions. But I'm beginning to wonder now. And so I started doing a little bit of investigation myself. And I just took a little note I wrote down myself to remind myself, Larry, you may be familiar with this, the historian that you are, Operation Northwoods. It's been declassified. Now, it was a false flag that we were going to be attacked here, in the United States. The Joint Chiefs of Staff of all people recommended this. But thank goodness the president at the time, President Kennedy, said, hell no. But we're going to do a false flag against our people and blame it on the Cubans.
Yeah, they were going to shoot down a plane in Miami.
That sort of was a precursor for 7 Days in May, which was one of Kennedy's favorite movies. If you remember that movie. I mention that all the time, and people look at me like, 7 Days in May? Who was in that movie?
All right, so I have to take you both back to your childhood. So I finally, I had a little downtime over the weekend, and I finally watched The Manchurian Candidate. I mean, you want to talk about a movie that was made over 60 years ago that is still relevant today. I mean, the message of that film is still as relevant. And Angela Lansbury, I mean, my goodness, she played a wicked villain in that movie, but a villain that was probably drawn from life. That's what's amazing about so many of these, Pentagon-approved films is that they're always giving you little hints about what's really going on out there. They may not use the real names, not the real people, but there's those elements of truth that is kind of hidden in those messages. And it's not scary to me anymore. I just think it's very eye-opening, but also very confirming. We did a clip on Larry Silverstein not too long ago, the Zionist billionaire that owned the World Trade Center and would go to the World Trade Center every day for breakfast at what was it called? Tower of the Worlds, or what was it called, Jen?
The restaurant at the top.
On top of the North Tower. And for whatever reason, one day he decided not to go. And when Elliot Spitzer got in, he was able to collect on an insurance policy that he only paid a couple of $100 million on, and he collected $4.5 billion as a result. And this was an insurance policy, mind you, that he only signed about a couple of months before this actually happened. So this clip started to take off. And the next thing you know, Google decided to suppress it. They shadow banned it, they grabbed it. And in my opinion, when that happens, that means we've struck a nerve with the truth. That's what it means. Yeah. That's it. And the fact that you gentlemen have served in the highest levels of our government, that you grace us with your presence, and that you encourage us the way that you do. There's a lot of people that have come on our channel that have given us very kind words of encouragement, but you're two of our favorites. You know that. That's why we ask you to come back. And we thank you not just for your service in the uniform, but your service outside the uniform. And it is imperative that we continue to have these conversations, because if we don't, we are in big trouble. But with you guys around, it gives us hope.
Yeah.
And we will continue to fight that fight from now and for many years to come. And we obviously want to thank you, as always, for gracing us with your presence tonight. And final words before you go.
Well, I want to turn those words back on you. Totally back on you. I'm 81 years old. I'm out of here very shortly. So you got the burden. But I think you're right. I think it's going to take people in the streets, and it's probably going to take blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you all. I appreciate the work that you're doing. Thanks for having Larry and I on, and we'll be more than happy to come back when you need us at any time. The other thing I will tell you, though, is thank goodness for social media. Thank goodness for the young people. Larry and I had an opportunity, I alluded to 3 weeks ago, to go to Columbia University, believe it or not. We were invited to Columbia University, and we spent some time with the students there. And I got to tell you, I am so proud of them, And I got to tell you, they're going to make that change. We're just going to give them the guidance, give them the historical perspective. But you see Larry smiling. I mean, that was one of the best
I was
times
just
of our
thinking about
life.
one of the things I kept hearing, the refrain, they hated the administration.
Oh,
They liked their professors, they liked their classes, they liked what they were learning and stuff, but they hated the administration.
Yeah.